Hello and welcome back to the Unleashed podcast. A bit of an impromptu episode today. I was just driving home and I was like, you know what, I feel like recording an episode tonight and my microphone is on low battery flashing, so I'll try and make it quick. This was not planned previously. Usually I've got my big list of content ideas and stuff like that ahead of time, but yeah, I'll try and make it quick because both of these are flashing now. So what I wanted to chat about today was how to stop giving a fuck and start living for you. I don't know if you can tell in the tone of my voice or just my persona. I can tell in my eyes and just the look in my face. I've got my glow back and I've never been this version of me. I've never been so strong and I guess sassy and just like, nah, this is how it is. And tonight someone asked me, how do you feel on the inside today? And I was like, honestly, better than I ever have in my whole entire life. And how cool is it that I've finally got into a place where I can say that after a long, treacherous time. And I called my nana the other day and I could just call with nothing wrong. Like, oh, how's the house going? Yeah, perfect. How's your job? Oh, yeah, perfect. How's your health? Yeah, on the mend. Like, so good. And like not having to unload all my crap onto her or be crying or stress out my family with all these things going wrong. So yeah, that is honestly such an incredible feeling. For the first time ever in Australia, I've got like this feminine support community in this little fairy household. And when I went through all that crap, I just did not know that life was going to turn out like this. I didn't know that this was going to unfold. And I remember just praying for life to be different. Like when I was stuck in the midst of it last year and I was losing my relationship, I was losing the house of my dreams, I had nothing, I couldn't achieve my goals, like everything was just getting pushed back deeper and deeper into the hole. I just remember wishing, I wish my life would get better, I wish that something would change, but you don't expect, like you can't plan on how it's going to. The universe is like, oh, you want it to change? Sure, here you go. Dumped, kicked out of the house, having to move twice, like losing the person you think you're going to marry with the click of a finger, having nothing. I didn't even have a bed. I slept on a mattress on the floor for months, like didn't want to be here for ages, would have panic attack, like hyperventilating episodes until 2 a.m, sometimes 5 nights a week throughout all of January. Yeah, the universe is like, you want change? Here you go. But just stick through it. Just get through the day. Just stay alive and just get through the day and get through the night so you can wake up each day with a fresh day. And then boom, dream house, boom, dream job, dream life, looking better than I ever have, peak physical conditioning, like I got blue mermaid hair, like my DJ career is going good, I've got more friends than I ever have, I'm making gains in the gym, I've got an amazing coach, an amazing life, like just stick through it with whatever you're doing. So anyway, I'll get into the episode. Also, if you like more personal development content, I also talk a lot about plant-based nutrition, lots of mindset stuff, holistic wellness, sometimes talking about business and all of the things in relation to becoming your best self and unleashing that best version of you. Then don't forget to hit subscribe and you can connect with me over on TikTok and Instagram as well for more daily content. I will mention as well, I've got my Feminine Frequency Glow Up Guide. That's a free PDF that you can download. That will just be in the description below. That goes through a lot of the things that I've incorporated into my mindset shifts in my life to help me transform my entire reality. So that one is completely free. It's probably my favorite product I've ever created, so don't forget to download that as well. So one funny concept that I recently discovered, and when I was writing out the bullet points for this podcast, I was like, I feel like this is actually what I'm doing right now. I haven't looked into the definitions too much. I've just seen it pop up a couple times on TikTok, but I feel like I'm kind of starting to embody this dark femme energy. And these are back to my unicorn nails, but I did actually get black glitter nails for the first time ever, and like I'm wearing a black dress. I do not wear black. I always wear unicorn colors, like the soft little princess girl, and I just feel like I've become so fierce, just like, nah, this is how it is, like take me as I am or leave me. This is what I want in life, this is what I'm aiming for, this is what I want such and such to look like, and like not freaking folding for anyone. I've spent my whole 20s changing myself to fit into other people's box. I've been in relationships my whole 20s. I'm 28 in literally like 3 months or something. And I've been in 2 long-term relationships with only 8 months in between. And the whole time, and even since I was a kid, like molding myself into what my parents want, and then going through school and university, molding myself to be like the good student and what my job wants, and then having these 2 relationships and being like, oh yeah, I'll do anything that you ask. Like, yeah, just begging. And this is the first time I've fully accepted myself, like, yeah, nah, this is how it is. And yeah, like, be part of my life or don't. So the concept is called the golden retriever versus black cat energy. And when it comes to dating, but it can relate to different areas in life, it's like the golden retriever is like the woman running around after the man, like, I'll do anything for you. And I used to be like that, and I still think it's important to have that dynamic in the relationship, like taking care of your partner, cooking them a nice meal, doing their washing for them, and just making their life a little bit easier, because it's nice to nurture people, and that's how I show my love. But not, yeah, still having your own life. That's what it comes down to. This lady that I've been looking at online, she has changed my whole perception of when it comes to dating and stuff. And she posted this video last night. Someone sent in a question like, oh, my husband, when I come home, he's always watching TV and doesn't pay attention to me. How do I make him stop? And he's always drunk. And this lady was like, girl, I don't want him bothering me. Like, as long as that bill's paid, I'm too busy doing what I'm doing, kind of thing. Like, be busy enough with your own life. You got goals to achieve. You got shit to do. Like, I'm going to compete again in October for my 3rd show, and I've got very high aspirations in that field. I'm building my business. I'm like working on myself for the first time ever, instead of like trying to do what everyone else wants to do and look after everyone else apart from me. Nah, put yourself first, be busy, give them a chance to miss you. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just had such an impact on me because I have spent all this time putting the other person first and like praying that I'm enough and crying and wondering why I'm not enough. So it's a really, really big thing for my life at the moment. But and like in whatever field, start embodying that black cat energy or like that dark femme energy. Number 2 is lessons from burnout and letting someone else's voice or past trauma dictate my life. So I recently had some major health scares. I've just been in hospital for a period of time. I had some other things going on as well. And last year, yeah, I basically got broken up with for not achieving my goals fast enough for someone else's standard. And I've just come out of my whole 20s worth of extreme trauma with a narcissist, and then moved to Gold Coast with $50 to my name. I've said this story before. And then into what I thought was the dream home, like in this forest. And then that turned out to be a traumatic household with all these weird energies going on. We went through like 12 or 18 flatmates in 8 months or something ridiculous. And just went through all this weird stuff, then had to get rescued by the next person because, yeah, I didn't have rental history. I didn't have full-time work. I have a Great Dane. I couldn't get a full-time job because my dog had to be locked in my room at all times. So like, how can I leave the house for more than 4 or 5 hours because she needs to go to the toilet? It was just one thing after another. So coming out of 4 years of narcissistic abuse, and then getting to my dream home, and then like you've got to learn to trust yourself again. So yeah, I had this health issue where I had extreme abdominal pain for 40 minutes straight. It sounded like I was going into labor. I drove myself straight to the emergency department to try to get some scans or extreme pain relief or something. And I was like screaming over the steering wheel of the car, like what you see in movies when a woman is giving birth. And it was kind of a wake-up call moment when I was like, wait, am I even in pain right now, or is my mind just making this up? And this is after I've done quite a bit of healing from all that. So you don't even trust yourself yet. Like you don't even know what is reality because it's so warped, because someone else has been like taken away your own intuition and made you not believe your own thoughts. So it is actually quite a big deal. And what happened recently is I had these health things going on, and because I'd been told last year, oh, you're not achieving enough, you don't have a reason to lay down, all your iron levels are fine. What's wrong with you? Why can't you keep up? Why can't you do enough in a day? So every time I would try to rest, a basic human need, I would lay down and just be like, you don't have a reason to be doing this. Get up. You've got so much stuff to do. What's wrong with you? Why can't you keep up? So I'm just laying there like, get up, get up, get up, do all this stuff. And I can't actually chill out for a moment. So then I drove myself into extreme burnout to the point I passed out at work for half an hour, unconscious, and I had to go to hospital in the ambulance. I was completely unresponsive for, I think it was around 25 or 30 minutes. That's never happened before. I know I get to burnout to the point, I'm very intuitive, so I do get this thing where I feel like, almost like there's rope around my wrist, like keeping me in the bed, and my ankles, like telling me you need to rest today. But I literally had to have a meeting with work to come up with the back to work plan so that I don't have an overload of shifts and pick up more than what I can handle. And any normal person, like I did try to have a couple of sick days, but we were short staffed, so I was just like, oh, well, I'll be I don't want to be unreliable. I don't want to put them through that stress and be a bad staff member. So go anyway, and just kept pushing and pushing myself to the point I had to go in the ambulance unconscious because I'd worked so hard and just really pushed my limits for far too long. And a good learning lesson from this was, here I was blaming the other person because I'm like, yeah, I can't get their voice out of my head. They always said I didn't do enough, blah, blah, blah. But they're not in my life. Whose voice is it? My own voice. And it probably stems back further than the relationship to my childhood of like doing enough, overachieving in all these areas, doing all these sports, being a top student, achieving in all your classes. Yeah, like my whole room was filled with ribbons from dancing and athletics and everything I used to do. So here I am blaming a guy, like, yeah, I can't get his voice out of my head this whole time and I was never enough for him. But are you enough for yourself? Whose voice is it? It's your own. So something I'm practicing at the moment is loosening timelines. I recently posted a reel, even though we're like deep into 2024, I finally had the time to go to office work and print off my vision board that I made in December. That's how behind I am in my life admin, and I've had all these tasks building up that I think are going to be so difficult. Like I'd have to line up for ages and figure out how to load the Officeworks card with the money and like get it printed the right size and come back 3 days later to pick it up. So how early do I need to leave for work if I'm going to Officeworks first, and how far is that from work? Just like this ADHD executive dysfunction. And then I went to print it off and it was like a couple of minutes and like $2.50 or something, like super cheap. I thought it was going to be like $25 or something, like for some reason. So what I actually did this year, instead of putting 2024 vision board, I just put what would the winner do. And I've always had like this list of stuff in front of my computer desk, like 2024 goals, which I think is still very important to do. And it's important to set deadlines for yourself, otherwise you're just too chill and you'll be like, oh yeah, get in there. And I don't want to fall into complacency. But by taking the year off, as long as I know I'm like showing up and prioritizing what's important and my energy is going towards what matters, we've got our lifetime ahead of us. Like, I don't need to be sending myself to hospital sick because I'm trying to do it all at once. Like, I've got time. Like, the only timeline is the one we create for ourselves. And there's also other ways to measure productivity than your to-do list. I was listening to this podcast in hospital, which is probably really good timing. And it was talking about, like what ways have you grown as a person? You can't measure that off. You can't tick that off a box. I do not recognize this person I see in the mirror. I don't know who I am. I've never acted like this. I've never been this strong and certain in myself and clear in my vision and having boundaries and finding my voice. Funny thing about the blue hair, suddenly I never liked blue. I always liked pink and lilac, and suddenly I just wanted blue everything. Blue clothes, blue hair, like blue. I had blue toenail polish. Every single once I want blue, blue, blue. And then when I was at the hairdresser, my friend sent me a little thing saying blue actually represents communication and standing up for yourself. And I've been told in the past, if I don't learn to find my voice, that can develop into thyroid issues in the future. And why is it that I always have extreme neck pain? Like if I dig my fingers into the side of my neck, I can't even do it because I get extreme migraines and my whole neck is always like tensed way up. So yeah, there's more ways to measure your productivity or success in life or your growth rather than just ticking things off a list every day. What actually matters? The next part of this is whose opinion really matters at the end of the day. I live quite a diverse lifestyle, and I think I got the idea from this podcast from an Instagram post that I'm doing. Kind of like I've just kind of finally accepted myself because I have a lot of interests that don't really go together. So I do OnlyFans. I've wanted to be a Victoria's Secret lingerie model ever since I was 16. I do nude photo shoots, which is one of my favourite things to do in life. I was literally going to start a business where I print off my artistic nudes on like huge canvases and sell them on like an Etsy store as like actual art that people can put in their homes, because I've done a lot of creative shoots with like body paint or like contrasty black and whites, like sandy beach kind of things, and that really is a big part in how I express myself and embrace my sexuality, I guess. Say also on some Fridays, for many years I've done that, I do like bikini waitressing or promo jobs in bars, and I did a hotel management degree and started off in hospitality for 7 years, like actual slavery, doing like 800 people dinners, wearing an actual suit and tie up to your neck, carrying 12 plates on one arm with everyone's scraps and cutlery. In New Zealand, the wage was $17 an hour, and that's before tax, so say like $13 an hour or something, and working till 2 a.m, being like a servant. And then I got into bikini waitressing, and I'm like, oh, you can drink on the job. In New Zealand I used to do like boat parties, you can sit there and sunbathe, and the people, they're like, nah, sit down, we'll bring your drinks to you. You can like get paid to talk to people. And I've always done, like, my main job has always not been like a super high salary. Like, I worked in a 5-star hotel, but it was really, really like bottom of the line income. And I work at a gym reception now, which I absolutely love my job, and I love having the routine. I love the connections I've made there. I love the variety of the job. I'm excited to go to work, but the industry standard for fitness is pretty low. So I do these jobs on a Friday, sometimes once a week, sometimes once a fortnight. When I was sick, I had a few weeks off, so I might have only done one in 3 or 4 weeks. But in 3 hours, I earned what I do in 2 or 3 days of my other jobs. So I've just done that over the years, and then I'm like, sweet, I can fill my car up with gas for the week. Sweet, there's my groceries for the week. Sweet, that can go towards these other bills. Or say if I'm going away to DJ at a bush roof, sometimes it's 3.5 hours drive, and when I was first getting my name out there, I would drive for 3.5 hours in a 4-wheel drive, which is a lot of gas, for $50 for an hour set, and I'd be practicing for weeks beforehand to like try and get it right, get the right music, improve my skills. So sometimes with my passion projects with DJing and also keeping my nutrition business going, like with all the software and stuff that I pay for like emails, accounting, and social media things, like the software alone that I pay for equates to hundreds of dollars every single month. So I'm actually paying for that out of my own money, and all the time spent DJing, you're not getting paid for all the practice and all the hours spent behind the computer and all the marketing and promo you do for all your other things. So doing these promo jobs, it's really fun, especially if you're working from home by yourself. Or last year I was working from home solely by myself all week, wouldn't really dress up, like you don't have any reason to wear makeup or to wear nice clothes or to do your hair, just to feel like a bit okay for the day, not in trackies. But yeah, it's exciting. You like get dressed up, I do my weekly tan. Also, I get asked about my tan a lot. I'll do a quick little plug. So I use the Naked Tan Ultra Dark Foaming Mousse. I use that every week. So my discount code is CassieAmber for 20% off. But yeah, people have said to me, like, made me feel like I need to get out of this kind of work. Like, oh, what are you doing that for? Because it's like not professional. And it's like I slave away at all this other stuff all week for not much in return. And then I can get dressed up, get I don't get complimented for 3 hours straight. Basically, I just get asked how much I squat at every table because people haven't really seen a physique like mine. They're just like, oh, how much do you squat, blah, blah, blah. Even just shifting your mindset around things, like instead of feeling so frustrated today that I had to drive an hour and a half each way, instead of thinking like, oh my god, I'm just driving through the city, there's so much concrete, I'm so tired from the travel, and just getting annoyed at being on the road and being at all the traffic lights. I was like listening to podcasts. Last time I had a long drive, I was finding new music and I was just like vibing and just having a great time. And yeah, we can like shift our mindset. It's not like bad to do these things. So whose opinion really matters? And with the OnlyFans stuff, I haven't talked about that much on my socials because I've always been made to feel like, yeah, I've got to separate it. That's what was drilled into me because, yeah, if you're trying to build your brand, you need to have a niche. So I should only be talking about plant-based nutrition, and anything outside of that is bad. And people will come onto my page and be like, oh my god, how dare she have a body and show it, and then be offended. But like, it's part of who I am, and it's been a really important part of the life journey, because I always thought like, oh, when I stop it one day I'll like regret it, like it was this really bad thing. But I wouldn't be who I am today if I never did it. I wouldn't be in Australia if I didn't do it. And it's really helped me view myself in a new way. I've had lots of fun experiences, and yeah, it's just been a really fun thing overall. So like, only as of like a week or two ago, I was actually like, I'm not going to have this separate page and post across all these different channels and bombard my brain with like my nutrition Instagram, my DJ Instagram, my OnlyFans or modeling Instagram, and then a TikToks for all of those pages, plus my YouTube and podcast, plus Facebook and Facebook pages for all of those different brands, plus my email list. Like, I'm not going to do that. And I'm starting some more this year as well. Like, I was looking into starting a music collective with one of my friends to build up bass DJs around the area and showcase each other's music and create more gigs for ourselves. And now that I'm in this fairy house, we were thinking of starting a little TikTok. We haven't completely decided on the name or launched it yet, but like, yeah, just calling it like our fairy house or like enchanted fairy house, and showing like little cute rave outfits, or how we've all decorated our house pink, or like I can do some recipes that are like fairy colours to showcase my app and stuff. So I'm just like done pretending, just being like, oh yeah, I'm this good nutritionist wellness girly, but I've got this secret thing. It's not a secret. Like, yeah, I'm ready to embrace it and not let anyone tell me that I'm unprofessional or bad for doing those things, because it's part of who I am, and I wouldn't be sitting here today if that wasn't part of the journey to get to this point. Number 4 is how to stop caring. So build up your own life, and also the let them theory. Like, if it comes to guys or friends or just people in your life, instead of trying to control all of their actions or make them act in a certain way, just like let them do whatever they want, and they will know, like, yeah, when they impress you, you react like this, and then you'll deepen your connection, or you'll give back in a certain way. And when they don't, then you're just fine either way, off doing your own thing, and they're going to know the consequences of their actions. So instead of you like stressing out over every single thing they do, just know what you bring to the table, know what makes you unique. I've also talked on TikTok about having easy friendships, and one of my friends posted on Facebook the other day like, oh my god, sorry, I haven't like replied to anyone, like having this kind of like little stress out thing. But all of my friends are so chill. Like, we can go for a while without talking, sometimes months without seeing each other because we've got shit to do. We're not here sitting here during the week like, oh yeah, talking about everything you're doing. You might send like a little voice note or just be like, oh, thinking of you, hope you're okay. But it's not like, oh, why haven't you talked to me in this certain amount of time? You just know like that when you hang out, it's just the same. So just building your circle to embody that kind of energy that you want, and yeah, friends that have like a similar understanding and are on the same wavelength. Another thing in relation to how to stop caring about what people think is even just like in the way you dress. So say in this little fairy community house, we all wear like, yeah, like lots of pink and velvety things, and we all have coloured hair, and we're like these little 3-year-old clips, and we just dress a certain way because that's how we feel on the inside. We're not like, oh, I better not wear this out in public, or like, oh, it's a bit out there, and like worrying about standing out too much, or not dressing for our age because we should be like settling down now or something. We just decorate ourselves to exactly what we feel. And the last thing in relation to how to stop caring what other people think is to just do that thing. What is it that's on your mind? Is it like leaving your job, leaving your relationship, switching careers, maybe changing what you're studying, moving overseas or to a new city? Like this big thing that you can't get off your mind, and you're like, oh, yeah, I wonder what it would be like if I tried that. And I had this realization the other day when I was with one of my ex-partners. I was like, just before I settle down, I just want to see what it's like living in Gold Coast, Brisbane or Sunny Coast. I just have to give it a go before I settle down. And if I didn't move here with $50 and no job set up, I would be living out in the country in this farmhouse. Like, make the move, break the circuit. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks, whether it's like your friend or your family. Like, sometimes people won't understand, but what is it that has been on your mind that you haven't pursued yet? Take the leap. And last but not least, my 30-day Becoming Her Self-Love Challenge. I've finally launched the landing page on my website, so you can go and sign up for that now. And I will be guiding you for a month through everything I've done to make myself unrecognizable, transform my whole entire being to a point where I never knew that this version of me would ever exist. Like, I didn't know a life like this would ever exist, and it takes some deep work and looking into the shit that goes on in your mind, pulling yourself up on things, looking into why you behave the way you do, why you have certain thoughts, where certain things came from. And I'm going to guide you through it with daily videos, community support. Just, it's going to be epic. I've really started shifting my brand from, talking about just plant-based nutrition, which is always going to be a huge part of my life, and I'll still do some videos and episodes about it, but really shifting to that bigger picture, creating your unicorn reality kind of thing, like the most abundant life that you could ever envision. Because why are we settling for anything less? Why are we just saying like, oh yeah, that would be cool, but it's only for these certain people who are lucky? It's for anyone that wants to reach out and grab it. So don't forget, you can download my glow up guide, which is my free PDF in the meantime, and I'll link my 30-day Becoming Her Self-Love Challenge in the description below. I'm almost going to cry because I'm just so excited. And I'm so happy that I'm starting to zoom out as well, because this is my new passion. There's more to health than just food, and food is a big part of helping you create your dream life, but I feel like this creating your dream life is my new big passion. And breaking the circuit, like letting go of the expectations of other people. Stop living for everyone else's thoughts on who you should be. Who do you want to be? And how are you holding yourself back? So I'll leave it at that. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos or podcasts like these. Don't forget to connect with me over on Instagram or TikTok at Cassie Amber Wellness. And stay tuned for the next episode. I can't wait to see you in the Self-Love Challenge. Thank you so much for your time, and have an amazing week ahead.